So this is a short sequence to help you with tight hamstrings. So we're only going to cover a few yoga postures, but we're very effective when practiced regularly at helping to bring a little bit more flexibility into the hamstrings. You will need a belt for this practice or a dressing gown cord, anything like that you might have lying around at home. And then you can begin lying on your back, just taking a few deep breaths. Once you've taken those deep breaths, you can begin to stretch the body out, maybe wiggle the fingers, the toes. And slowly bring the feet to the mat. So you can grab that belt now or dressing gown cord and bring it round the ball of the right foot. And you can leave your left foot on the floor for now. You can have your elbows relaxed. You want your shoulders to feel relaxed. And of course, if having the leg close to the body is too much, just bring the leg further away. You're trying to keep the knee straight here. Okay, so if that means the foot needs to be further away, then that's fine. And just breathing here, deep breaths. If it's more comfortable for your shoulders, you can even rest the elbows, the upper arms to the floor here. The belt allows you to really fully relax around the shoulders. And as you hold, you're just feeling the back of the right leg opening. And this is a very gradual process over months of practice. So bit by bit, that flexibility will increase. And at that point, the more you practice this video, maybe you feel like you can straighten the left leg as well. Keeping the face soft, the jaw soft, making sure you're not moving the tension elsewhere in the body. When you're ready, you can slowly release, bend the right knee, release the belt. Take a moment before we move on to the left side. You can even straighten the legs out and feel the difference between the right and the left side. Then we'll now change to the left leg, so bring the belt or the dressing gown cord round the ball of the left foot and extend the left leg straight. Remember that if this 90-degree angle doesn't work, then you can always bring the leg lower so you can keep the knee straight. Okay, that bit's important. It's not a locked knee, but it's as straight as you can get it, so take the leg lower if that helps you do that. And you're breathing into the back of the left leg, so the awareness stays on the left leg, and you take those deep, calming breaths. It's always good to start with the right foot on the floor and allow the left leg chance to open. But of course, the more you practice this, you may find that you want to extend the right leg straight as well, and that's completely optional. You never have to do that if it always feels like a good enough stretch with the right foot to the mat as well. Just checking in with your shoulders, your jaw, your throat. Maybe swallow to make sure the hollow of the throat is soft. Just checking the upper body is remaining relaxed. When you're ready to release, you can bend the left leg, release the belt, and then take a moment just observing any changes in the back of the legs. You can even extend the legs straight, and hopefully now they both feel the same in length. To come up, you can bend the knees one by one, roll to the right side, press the left hand into the floor and bring yourself up. We're going to come to the top of the mat standing, feet hip distance, and bring the hands onto the hips. Then step the legs wide, so as wide as your mat. The outer edges of the feet in line with the edges of your mat, so your toes might need to turn in just slightly. Then release the hands. Inhale and exhale, making sure your pubic bone is lifting and your tailbone is descending. Inhale, lifting the arms up. And exhale, begin to fold forward. You can bend the knees on the way down. Keep extending the spine, extend the arms. Lower back problems, feel free to bring the hands on the hips as you fold. And if you can reach the floor, your fingertips can go to the outside of the feet, or maybe it's enough for you just to bring the hands onto the backs of the legs. So you choose where it feels more comfortable. A slight bend in the knees is absolutely fine. You can still open the hamstrings here by pressing the feet down. Start to lift the sit bones and feel the back of the legs opening. Even with the knees still bent, you can still feel this action. Nice deep breaths, relax the neck. And just hold this. Keep pressing the feet down, keep lifting the sit bones. And again, slowly, after months of practice, if you repeat this sequence, you may find some improvement there. Maybe you don't need to bend the knees as much. Slowly now bring the hands onto the hips, keep the knees bent as you roll up, and release the hands. So now we're going to go with the feet hip distance. Again, pubic bone wants to lift, tailbone wants to descend. As you inhale, lift the arms up. And as you exhale, fold. But remember, you can bend the knees. Hands can also be on the hips if it's too much with the arms forward. The hands can now go again onto the outside of the feet, or maybe onto the back of the legs if you can't reach the floor. Keep as much of a bend in the knees as you need, and you can begin to press the feet down and lift the sit bones up. This really starts to open the back of the legs. Hopefully you can see I've still got a slight bend in my knees, but you saw the action of my sit bones moving up. Increasing that feeling in the back of the legs. Take a few calming breaths here. Shoulders very gently pulled away from the floor, so there's space in the neck. And then begin to bend the knees, place the hands onto the hips and gently roll up slowly through the spine. Release the hands, take a few breaths. So especially if you feel dizzy here, take a little bit longer before the next posture. So we're going to try it now with the feet together. So we're gradually increasing the intensity in the back of the legs. Lift the pubic bone, descend the tailbone. And then on your inhale, lift the arms up, pressing into your feet, and exhale, fold. Remember, the knees can bend as you hinge from the hips. Hands go to the floor if you can reach on the outside of the feet, or you have the option to bring the hands to the back of the legs. With the knees bent, begin to press your feet into the floor, slide your sit bones towards the ceiling, and you will start to feel a much deeper stretch now in the hamstrings. Of course, if at any point it's too much with the feet together, you go back to the previous version with the feet hip distance. And then we'll begin to come up to bring the hands to the hips, bend the knees, and again roll the spine up to stand. Release the hands. Take a few breaths. Stay longer if you feel any dizziness at all. Inhale, lifting the arms up when you're ready. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees, hinge from the hips. And this time bend the knees even more to get the hands to the floor as you step back into a downward dog. In your downward dog, it's absolutely okay to have the heels lifted and the knees bent. Press your hands into the floor, send your hips back, and slowly see if you can start to straighten the legs. It doesn't matter if the heels never reach the floor, that bit's really not important. But a bit like you did standing, start to draw the thighs up and straighten the legs. And you can play about with this. You can bend the knees and then re-straighten the legs, draw the sit bones up, press the thighs back, start to extend the legs as straight as you can manage. Of course, whenever you need to rest, you just bring the knees down and you can come back up and attempt it again. It's really nice to play with bending the knees and then trying to straighten the legs a few times. But of course, whenever you're ready, whenever it's enough for you, you can bring the knees down and send the hips back to the heels into a child's pose. You can either rest the forehead onto the mat or make a pillow with the hands. Remember, you can use supports here too, so you can have blocks or cushions under the head and under the buttocks as well. So whenever you feel you're ready, you can make your way back into downward dog. Send your hips back to the heels and then lift the knees. This time we're going to take our downward dog on the balls of the feet, so the heels are really, really high away from the floor. We're not even trying to get them close. Yeah, see how high my hips are now as I lift up onto the balls of my feet. Yeah, and from here you're starting to straighten the legs. And then you can slowly descend the heels down just as much as you can. Yeah, it might be a little bit, might be a lot, depends on the ankles as much as the hamstrings at this point. So just feel the length you created by being high on the balls of the feet and then really pressing the legs back as you brought the heels towards the floor. And we'll just do this a few times. And it feels like your body is growing much, much, much longer. Whenever you're ready, you can then bring the knees down, go back into your child's pose. You can make a pillow with the hands, you'll use your supports, your cushions and blocks. And rest here. So steady the breath, relax the shoulders. So the hamstrings are doing what they're used to doing here, to bend the knees. We've just done everything to straighten them, so now it's very restful to have the knees bent in your child's pose. So you can take this as your pause between your yoga practice and the rest of your day, but you also have the option to come and lie on the back if you have time.